Floyd Mayweather brutally predicted Tank's forthcoming bout with Frank Martin, and Gervonta Davis has criticized him for it. Meanwhile, former professional boxer and analyst Tim Bradley thinks that Frank Martin lacks the expertise required to overcome the Tank. Bradley is certain that Tank will use his superior strength to defeat Martin via late knockout. It will also be harmful if Martin can't consistently win rounds against Tank, since he won't have the option to play it safe in the latter rounds to hold on to his advantage and avoid Tank's knockout attempts. Tim Bradley said that he thought Frank lacked expertise to battle HubTB. Bradley clarified that the primary problem was that he didn't think Frank could put rounds together, which was something that Frank needed to be able to accomplish. Frank, in my opinion, what he lacks is experience. You see, he has to be able to put rounds together, and I don't see him being able to do that. Bradley's claim that Martin has the necessary skills to take on Tank. If Martin starts slowly against Davis on Saturday night, he might be too far behind to make a desperate effort to catch up. Davis is right when he says that it is troubling that Martin failed to apply his offensive strategy during the first 7 rounds of his previous fight against Tim Haratunen last year. Martin might turn to careless techniques, provide Tank with the ideal chance to profit on a strong blow, and achieve a knockout in the following rounds. Bradley went on to say that Frank's pointing out that Tank in the later rounds worried him as well. Davis enjoyed playing catch-up and felt at ease. Bradley pointed out that Davis was a top predator for a reason, pointing out that in the latter rounds, he would deftly lay traps that opponents would often miss. Frank is one of the guys I worry about in the later rounds because he seems at ease and doesn't mind playing catch-up. It's just that you don't realize that he's an apex predator for a reason. He also mentioned that if Martin continues to play as slowly as he did against the Haratunen Tank, Davis might not have to worry about catching up. Tempo: if Davis gets ahead quickly, Martin could be forced into a desperate with his reckless fighting style. Davis would have plenty of chances. The WBA secondary champion who has never lost will deliver strong counterpunches. Bradley said that the Tank Davis believed that Frank tended to make mistakes, especially late in the fight, which a fighter like Tank could easily exploit. Davis thought that Frank should have been more cautious in waiting for his opponent to make a mistake before setting up for a decisive shot, which he frequently finished with one punch. Martin's promoters appear to have rushed to secure a lucrative fight for him, skipping the crucial step of gaining sufficient experience to prepare for such a significant leap in competition. Ideally, Martin should have faced other opponents before challenging Tank for his WBA title. Furthermore, Martin's management to match him up against a few skilled opponents in the 135 pounds division before pitting him against the seasoned Tank traps. He'll wait on you to make that mistake, and he'll line you up for that shot, and he'll finish you with one punch. Bradley said that as the bout went on, the intensity of the spotlight, the bright lights, and the atmosphere of being in the ring with a Tank Davis, a boxer with the ability to strike forcefully with both hands, would wear in the end. Frank Martin and Bradley both anticipated that Tank would stoppage late in the fight. With all of the excitement and lights surrounding the battle, as well as Tank's presence, the man who can hit very hard with both hands, you could see that this fight would run out of steam. Frank Martin therefore let me state that Tito Fimo has stopped LSL. However, Lopez, a self-described boxing enthusiast, has always been vocal about the situation of boxing both inside and outside of the ring. He has given his opinions to Fight Hub TV about the duel between Martin and Davis. Lopez said that a new kind of battle may ensue if Frank Martin, who is well known for his amazing 93% knockout rate, presses Davis without any respect. However, some analysts find this strategy questionable. Davis often penalizes opponents who adopt a combative posture. Frank Martin should have a different kind of outing if he pressures Tank Davis without any respect, in my opinion. In addition to discussing the upcoming fight between Davis and Martin, Lopez also provided details about his decision to decline a matchup with Ryan Garvin. Lopez further elaborated that if Martin entered the fight respecting the power and hype behind Gervonta Davis, it would likely result in an early night for Martin. This assertion is especially startling given the notorious sparring footage of Lopez and Davis, in which Davis delivers a powerful counterpunch to Lopez towards the end of their bout, causing the sparring to be stopped. Given this background, it's puzzling why Lopez would endorse a strategy that appears to play to Davis's strengths. In order to make sure the sport remained pure, Lopez said that if he and Garcia faced off again, they would use USADA and for more thorough testing. After declining Tu's proposal, Ryan Garcia defeated Devin Haney, only to become involved in controversy after a test found traces of ostarine in his system. Should Garcia avoid suspension, a fight between him and Lopez would surely become one of the most anticipated bouts in the upcoming year at the perfect time. And just by doing that, I'm just thankful that the outcome is like where else can I take it, and if we meet again, in a sense, and they come about me and Ryan Garcia facing each other, then we'll bring in USADA. We'll bring in Doug, and we'll bring in more testing into the sport so we can keep it clean. Vasyl Lomachenko, after reaching Teofimo recently, Lopez met up with another well-known foe of his, George Kambosos. Against Kambosos, Lomachenko triumphed in a decisive and dominant manner. Lopez said, "I knew Lomo would win. The guy hasn't looked impressive in his recent appearances, but it's good for him that he's receiving his flowers on time." This result is noteworthy since Lomachenko's decisive victory over Kambosos was somewhat unexpected because Lopez had previously fought Lomachenko to win the 135 pounds titles, but then lost to Kambosos. Lopez also discussed the possibility of a rematch with Kambosos, stating, "I wanted that rematch, never got it. They wanted to go with the money and take the Loma fight in Australia." Although Lopez stated that he would like to see them again, it doesn't seem likely right now. It might be a thrilling fight, but given the circumstances and timing, it may not be as important as it once was. Coming back to the fight between Frank Martin and Gervonta Davis, it won't be their first time competing together, as they have spared previously. Will the past altercations between the lightweight competitors matter when the action takes place on June 15th? A victory over Martin can help Davis, one of boxing's biggest names, go closer to some of the biggest battles in the sport. Potential showdowns against Shakur Stevenson, Tamo Lopez, and a rematch with Ryan Garcia loom on the horizon for Tank. And the Baltimore native isn't discounting any lessons learned from past sparring sessions with Martin. Tank L said, "We got to see on June 15th. If he's really intimidated, I spared him before at the Mayweather gym. Nothing really personal. It was just two young guys that were trying to make something out of nothing with a perfect record of 18 victories and 12 knockouts." 29-year-old Frank Martin is about to enter uncharted territory in this forthcoming fight.